Prince Harry's desperate attempt to break free from Meghan, a lost cause. Prince Harry appears to be standing at a crossroads, trapped in a life that feels increasingly like a gilded cage. Desperate to escape Meghan Markle's control and reconnect with his old life within the royal family, Harry faces an uphill battle. Meghan's toxic influence has not only tainted his reputation, but also left him caught between a glamorous Hollywood existence, where he feels out of place, and a deteriorating popularity in both the US and the UK. As he scrambles to find a way back to the royal fold, Harry discovers that the path home is far more treacherous than he ever imagined. Once celebrated as the adventurous, charismatic prince, Harry now finds himself in a very different light. Under Meghan's influence, his image has shifted from that of a beloved royal to a controversial figure, often criticized for his public grievances and his attacks on the family that once supported him. Meghan, with her relentless drive for attention and influence, has seemingly pulled Harry into a world of Hollywood glitz and media scrutiny, a world where he clearly does not fit. Harry's reputation has suffered immensely. The public is weary of his constant complaints and his portrayal as a victim of the very institution that gave him privilege and status. The man who was once the most popular royal after his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, is now seen as someone who has turned his back on his family and heritage for a life that feels increasingly hollow. In his desperate quest to return to the royal fold, Harry has reportedly reached out to old friends, such as his former private secretary Edward Lane Fox, hoping to find allies who can help him bridge the widening chasm between himself and the royal family. But his efforts have largely fallen flat. Many of his old friends have moved on, distancing themselves after witnessing Harry's repeated attacks on his family. These friends, who once cherished Harry's loyalty and fun-loving spirit, feel betrayed by his actions, particularly his harsh words against Camilla, now queen consort. Harry's decision to air dirty laundry in public, especially in his memoir Spare, has left many feeling disillusioned and unwilling to offer the helping hand he now seeks. Perhaps no one could be worse off than Harry right now, a man lost, struggling between two worlds. Reports suggest that Harry has moved out of the Montecito mansion he shares with Meghan over a year ago, preferring to spend time in hotels or planning solo trips abroad. This could be seen as a sign of his growing discomfort with his life in California. Despite his efforts to maintain a facade of marital harmony, it seems Harry is struggling with the reality that his new life is not what he envisioned. Caught between his responsibilities as a father and his personal struggles, Harry's absences from Montecito are shrouded in mystery. There are even suggestions that a super injunction is in place to prevent the media from delving too deeply into the reasons behind these long absences. This only adds to the speculation that Harry is seeking an escape route, one that does not involve Meghan. It's completely understandable when old friends are shocked by Harry's pleas. And I'm sure if I were them, I'd be very surprised too. Harry's outreach to old friends has been met with shock and surprise. Those who once stood by him now find themselves questioning his motives. They are wary of his overtures, remembering the pain he has caused with his previous public attacks on the royal family. His portrayal of Queen Camilla, in particular, as a villain in his life story has alienated even those who were once his closest confidants. For many of these friends, the damage is already done. Harry's actions, they feel, have crossed a line that cannot be easily undone. His former circle sees his current attempts to reconnect as disingenuous, perhaps even a desperate ploy to regain some semblance of normalcy after his dramatic departure from royal life. The bridges Harry is now trying to rebuild are ones he himself set ablaze with his words and actions. But in reality, I believe Harry has a lot to hide. There is an eerie silence surrounding Harry's movements, particularly when it comes to his absences from the Montecito home. The media has been unusually quiet, and this silence is rumored to be enforced by a super injunction, a legal mechanism that restricts the press from reporting on certain matters. This only fuels the speculation that there is more to Harry's story than meets the eye. What is Harry hiding? Are these absences a sign of marital discord? Or are they a reflection of his internal struggle, torn between the life he has chosen and the one he left behind? The silence speaks volumes, suggesting that Harry's story is far from over and that the drama surrounding his life is only beginning to unfold. Besides, in what appears to be a futile attempt to maintain relevance, Harry has chosen not to update the paperback version of his controversial memoir, Spare. This decision is widely seen as another miscalculation. The memoir, filled with accusations and grievances against his family, has only served to deepen the rift. By refusing to amend or soften his narrative, Harry signals a stubborn refusal to acknowledge the pain he has caused. The royal family and the public are clearly aligned with Prince William, who has made it abundantly clear that Harry is not welcome back into the fold without significant changes. The paperback release of Spare without any new content only reaffirms Harry's stance, a stance that has alienated him further from those who once supported him. While Harry finds himself increasingly isolated, Prince William stands as the future of the monarchy. With the public firmly behind him, William represents stability, continuity, and a vision for a modernized royal family. He has been resolute in his decision not to invite Harry to the coronation, reflecting his determination to protect the monarchy from further scandal and division. William's stance is seen as a necessary measure to safeguard the integrity of the royal family. He understands that forgiving Harry and Meghan for their relentless attacks would not only undermine the institution, but also send a message that there are no consequences for disloyalty and betrayal. His leadership, in contrast to his father's perceived weakness, has solidified his role as the future king, the one who will steer the monarchy through turbulent times. Regardless, we must admit that King Charles was a king tested by family strife. King Charles finds himself in a delicate position, torn between his love for his son and his duty to the crown. His perceived reluctance to cut off Harry and Meghan earlier has been viewed by some as a sign of weakness, a failure to act decisively in the face of familial betrayal. Yet, Charles is aware that any move he makes will have profound consequences for the future of the monarchy. As he balances these competing pressures, Charles is leaning heavily on William to set the course for the future. He knows that William's firm stance against Harry's return is what is needed to protect the institution from further harm. Charles' support for William's vision is crucial, a sign that he understands the need for strong leadership to preserve the monarchy's integrity. Certainly, Meghan is the true obstacle to Harry's return. While Harry's path back to the royal family is fraught with challenges, the most significant obstacle is Meghan herself. Her presence is a constant reminder of the turmoil that has unfolded since their marriage. With her low approval ratings and lack of public support in the UK, Meghan remains an unwelcome figure in royal circles. Her actions have left little room for reconciliation. From the Oprah interview to her continuous media engagements, Meghan has positioned herself as an adversary of the royal family rather than a member willing to find common ground. Her influence over Harry has been widely criticized, seen as the driving force behind his estrangement from his family. The question is it too late for Harry? For Harry, the road to redemption is narrow and uncertain. To find his way back to the royal family, he would need to make significant concessions, starting with distancing himself from Meghan's influence and publicly acknowledging the harm his actions have caused. But even then, there is no guarantee that he would be welcomed back with open arms. The royal family, particularly William, is wary of any attempt by Harry to return without clear signs of genuine repentance and change. They see his current behavior as a continuation of the same pattern of self-pity and blame, rather than a sincere desire to reconcile and rebuild trust. As things stand, Prince Harry finds himself in a state of limbo, a prince without a country, a man without a clear purpose. His attempts to escape Meghan's control and reconnect with his old life have so far been unsuccessful, blocked by the very people he once considered friends and allies. The bridges he burned in his pursuit of independence are proving difficult, if not impossible, to rebuild. The future remains uncertain for Harry. Without a drastic change in direction, he risks being remembered not as the rebellious prince who forged his own path, but as the lost son who could never find his way home. Meanwhile, the royal family, led by William, marches on, determined to protect the institution from those who would do it harm, even if it means keeping one of their own on the outside, looking in. Beneath the surface of Harry's public struggles lies a deeper, more personal battle, an internal conflict that is taking a significant psychological toll. Torn between the woman he chose to marry and the family he left behind, Harry seems caught in a never-ending cycle of regret, anger, and confusion. He is living two lives, one in the glitzy world of Hollywood, where he appears increasingly out of place, and another in the shadows of the royal family, where he feels rejected and alienated. This dual existence has left Harry visibly drained. The emotional weight of his decisions, coupled with Meghan's unrelenting need for publicity, has created an atmosphere of tension and instability. Harry is not just struggling with his public persona, he is grappling with his own identity. Is he still the prince who once represented a modern, accessible monarchy? Or has he become a pawn in a different game, one that thrives on scandal and media manipulation? His reported absences from the Montecito home, his time spent in hotels, and his desire for longer solo trips abroad may be signs of a man seeking solace and clarity. It appears Harry is running from something, or perhaps someone in a desperate bid to regain control over his own narrative. This is a man at a crossroads, questioning his choices and yearning for the familiarity of a life he has now distanced himself from. Of course, it's hard to ignore the role Meghan has played in shaping Harry's recent actions. Critics argue that Meghan has used her marriage to Harry as a stepping stone to further her own ambitions, pushing him into the limelight in ways that serve her narrative. Her constant need for attention and her strategy of public victimhood have not only tarnished her own reputation, but have also dragged Harry down with her. Many believe that Harry, in his desire to support his wife, has become ensnared in a cycle of negative publicity, one that he cannot escape as long as he remains under Meghan's influence. Meghan's approach to fame and public relations, one that relies heavily on creating controversy and portraying herself as a victim of systemic oppression, contrasts sharply with the more measured, understated style expected of a British royal. There is a growing sentiment that Harry is a man caught in the web of Meghan's ambitions. Her focus on building a global brand and capitalizing on their status as former royals has left little room for Harry to carve out his own identity or pursue a path that aligns with his true self. He is, in many ways, a passenger in Meghan's journey rather than the driver of his own destiny. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates on this gripping saga. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Harry should be given another chance? Thank you for watching. Goodbye and see you next time.